I wrote a story on that band, the Thompson Twins, in like the early 1980s. All right, in all the debate about health care reform, we have heard nary a word about tort reform, lawsuit reform. Why is that? Medical malpractice insurance, lawyer fees, jury awards are adding billions of dollars in costs to a healthcare system already under tremendous strain. We are taking aim tonight at Steve Yerrid, a trial attorney with his own firm in Tampa, Florida. Folks, let me tell you, Mr. Yerrid here, old Steve, he, in 2006, won the largest malpractice award in Florida's history, $216.7 million for the crippling of one man with a bad diagnosis at the emergency room. He also was involved in tobacco litigation with the state of Florida, and they won $13 billion, and his fee was probably $200 million out of that. Yet no one's complaining about your salary, sir. They're worrying about salaries at Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. So I want to ask you, should we be doing something to address tort reform here and put you out of business?
Put us out of business? Yeah, that's the first thing people like to do. They like to put trial lawyers out of business so anarchy can occur, and patients that are operated on and get maltreated, about 100,000 a year, by the way, die from that type of maltreatment. They would love to get rid of the lawyers. Then you could do all kinds of wrongdoing and never be in check. Right. But this is not a salary, Dennis. I'm not paid like you. I have to go out and earn it the old hard way, you know, into a courtroom with a jury.
I don't earn it at all, right? But continue.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. You know, everyone wants to eliminate trial by jury until a loved one is wrongfully injured.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden it becomes very, very critical that we hear about the malpractice case that should follow. Do you know that as we speak right now, your program takes an hour? 5 to 11 Americans will die during the hour of your program needlessly from wrongful medical incidents.
Right, but the thing is, malpractice suits won't change that. You know, when you won your $200 million judgment in Florida, you said, let this serve as a deterrent to future care. But you know what? Malpractice suits continue to be filed. Care continues to be bad. And in fact, we waste billions of dollars on tests that we order that we don't need because of defensive medicine. The Harvard School of Public Health, sir, said in a study in 2006 that 4 out of 10 malpractice suits filed each year are without merit. This is Harvard. They're liberal. They're on your side. In Massachusetts, $1.4 billion a year is spent on defensive medicine, ordering tests they don't need because they're worried about getting sued. I mean, we're wasting money. Up to 28% of tests and procedures, 13% of hospitalizations are done to avoid lawsuits.
Well, the problem is your statistics and your knowledge of this particular area, although you're a very knowledgeable commentator, are a little shallow. You see, medical malpractice premiums and costs are 0.5% of health care costs. That's
but I'm talking about defensive medicine ordering tests in fear of that.
It's not defensive medicine. When you go in a hospital and you spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a day for a hospital stay, that's not defensive medicine. What that's called is a broken health care system. And when doctors and patients are involved, what we need to focus on are not what lawyers do wrong, but what doctors and hospitals do right. And then we have to fix the system.
Actually, you make your living focusing on what doctors and hospitals do wrong. And the problem I have with malpractice is, you know, it is assumed that they did it on purpose. Well, and Dennis, yet human error happens. Explain something, the disparity. The guy that went into the hospital emergency room thinking they misdiagnosed a stroke, they thought it was a sinus headache. He ends up losing the use of his 3 limbs. He gets $100 million at a time when an expert in the trial testified that the actual cost of taking care of him for the next 25 years will be only $15 million. They give his wife $55 million for the loss of his affection and his services and his attention. I mean, yet you represented another woman. She was run over by a car in a car wash. The jury gave $7.5 million. Why is that guy who lived worth $200 million and the woman who died worth only $7.5 million?
First, I'm very glad to see that you've read up on me and you're going to school me on my accomplishments.
It's impressive.
But they're not accomplishments by me. They're accomplishments by the judicial system. Let me give you a couple facts. You like the McDonald's coffee spill case?
No, I would actually like you to tell me the difference between $216 million and $7.5 million for a human life.
If you let me speak, on the $200 million verdict, $100 million was for punitive damages. Before the jury was rendered, they rendered that verdict in an hour. The plaintiff, right, because they wanted to send the message. The plaintiff announced that we'd send the $100 million back and give it to charities that dealt in paraplegic and quadriplegics.
And was that done? Because all I could find is a $1 million contribution to Nick Bonaconi's foundation.
That's very good that you found that. But can you imagine this person gave back $1 million of money?
Did the person give back the $100 million that you said he was going to give back?
No. We took no punitive damages. The answer is no, because we didn't take the $100 million.
You didn't take the $100 million. Would you just settle to stop from appealing? It was denied.
We didn't try to collect it because we made the point. The point is, you don't diagnose a sinus problem when a person's having a stroke and becomes not losing 3 limbs, but a quadriplegic. And it didn't render one person a victim. It rendered the entire family unit a victim. That's the first thing. Secondly, with regard to pain and suffering, you don't have any clue. It's not about dollars on Wall Street. It's about the loss of enjoyment of life. There are some tragedies that last 50 and 60 years that truly are worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, but where do you draw the limit, Steve? Where do you draw the line? I mean, what is a human life worth? And the problem with it is that right now we sometimes got the rare jury award for $200 million that then sends an earthquake of fear through the entire medical system.
Dennis,
and we end up spending way too much money.
Dennis, calm down. You've got it right, but your message is wrong. You've got it right. But frivolous lawsuits aren't the common in medical malpractice. They're too expensive, and they're usually not brought.
Well, they're especially not common in the 25 states that have passed caps on non-economic damages.
You are absolutely 100% wrong.
And that is really helpful. I mean, Texas has a waiting list for New Jersey doctors wanting to apply to practice in Texas because of the new cap they have.
You know what?
I've enjoyed talking with you, sir. I got to wrap, but I hope you come back on and we can fight some more because you're way too good at this. That's why you're a lawyer.
I can listen to you a lot because you talk a lot.
Well,
Thank you, Dennis.
Please start watching in DVR.
Dennis, justice is good.
Okay. All right. It sure is. I just questioned whether some of these jury awards are justice.
That, Dennis.
All right, stick with us, folks. There's still a lot more ahead tonight on CNBC Reports.